All right, everybody. Everybody that's tuning in. If you're catching this recording live later on, let me go live on Instagram. Hold up. I want to welcome each and everybody here to the first episode. This is the very first episode, very special episode. And I chose to do it with my brother, Mykhal Polite. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to bring him on for whatever reason. I don't know just why exactly, you know what I'm saying? You are the one, you know what I'm saying, that I wanted to go live with. But I do know that everything happens for a reason. We're gonna get to why that is. You know what I'm saying? So pleasure to have you here, brother. The Cellf Code, and essentially, let me just give a quick breakdown as to what it is. The Cellf Code is a platform. So it's a platform for people to come on and discover themselves, you know what I'm saying, and to dive deeper into who it is that they are in order for the world to learn from them, right? So we want to bridge the gap, you know what I'm saying, in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a pleasure to have you here. My intention with this podcast, with this in particular episode, is by the end of the show, I want everybody to know more about who you are. You know what I'm saying? I want them to know more about who you are, and essentially how knowing you will help them in their life, right?
Okay.
So how knowing you will connect them to something greater. You know what I'm saying? And obviously you're a man of purpose. That's why you're here. So I want to tell you three things as we get started about yourself that I'm sure that you know to some degree, but I want you to, you know, be reassured by me telling you this. So first thing is that there is no one like you. You know, point blank period. You gotta know and understand that there is nobody like you. In addition to that, you know already, because I can tell how you express yourself, you are unique. You know, you are very unique, and you have something to value for this world. You know, you have something to offer to the world, which is why you are in the position that you are in. And we'll get to that more. And the last one is that you exist right here, right now, for a reason. And we want to dive into exactly why that is. So without further ado, Mykhal Polite, how are you, brother?
I'm doing fantastic, man. First off, I want to say that was a beautiful intro. You know,
I appreciate
one probably more well-deserved
not at all.
than I maybe, you know, have value for. But I do appreciate it. And, you know, I really appreciate the invite of being here at all, let alone being the inaugural episode, you know, of such a network that you are building. And I appreciate the foundation of it and what the purpose of it is.
Absolutely.
So how are you?
You're so humble. You're so humble. you really are so humble, bro. Because let me tell you, we'll get to me. We'll get to me in a second. But let me just telling the world about this man, Mykhal Polite. I'm going to the post that I put up earlier, because that was the only way to really truly depict, you know, what value this man holds. So let me just go to that right quick. 1 second. Nope, that ain't it. Bear with me.
No. Take your time. Take your time.
All right, here we go. So this is what I said. For our first episode, we are featuring Mykhal Polite. This man is an actor, okay? This man is an actor and a stand-up comedian. I've seen, you know, this man for over the years truly just evolved. That's why I'm so excited to have you here, brother. He's also a fashion designer. He wears his own clothes. He's got his own fashion line. There's a lot to this man, and don't be so humble, brother, because you gotta recognize who you are. You know, you gotta recognize the value that you truly hold. And
100%.
you know that is everything that you have to offer to the world. So you being in the position that you are, even though these things are outside of you, you know, you being in the position that you are, you bring value to the world. You know, and you at this moment in time being Mykhal Polite, as people know you, Michael Lloyd, however it is that you describe yourself, you know, that is your testament to the world. That's your expression to the world. You express yourself. That's what's so that's what's so great about you, you know, is that you express yourself no matter what, you know what I'm saying? And you're very, very in tune. So and the rest of it I put, he's a former Newt, aka Kappa. I don't know if that's the proper terminology, but he is a fraternal member.
Yeah, I mean, you got everything right. I think the difference is as many people can see, you know, this was by happenstance, I got it on. But you're not a former, it's for life. So you almost got it. You was close.
See?
You was
Facts.
close.
Facts. I like that. I like that. That makes sense. That is the way that you live now. You're a part of that brotherhood. And so you've been inducted in that. So this is my last part of it, and then I'll let you talk. So I said Mykhal Polite is a man that I've known for quite some time. This man has always been an expression of himself. In every area that I've known this man, he's always been an expression of himself. Today, we're discussing who he is and who he represents to the world, as well as we're engaged in a powerful discussion after the fact. So don't be humble, brother.
Hey, man, either way, I mean, you are definitely poetic, and I know I've seen it over the years of how you've kind of found these strengths of yours, like to just be able to pull out, those words and those values from each person is just impressive, and I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Likewise, brother. But what do you hear to show the world? What is your, so let me put it this way, because this is actually the way I wanted to phrase it was this. If this is your stage for the world, how do you tell the world about yourself? How do you describe yourself right now? Because like I said, you matter. You expressing yourself, period, is the reason why you're here.
Man, that's such a big question. And I hope I answer it with finesse and grace. So how would I describe myself? I would describe myself as, to not be cocky, but the next best.
No, please, let no one understand that every expression that you have here is for you to be yourself. So be all the way yourself. Don't hold back. You know what I'm saying?
I would describe myself as definitely the next best thing. Only because I'm not willing to put myself in one box. Whatever that box may be, I'm not willing to let myself be complacent with that box, and I'm always searching for the next way to competitively beat somebody else. Now, competitively beating another human does not necessarily, I definitely don't mean that in a physical way, a literal way.
Right.
Just being the best in whatever category that is. Like you said, acting, stand-up comedy, fashion design, and a bunch of other ventures that, I have in the background.
Right.
I just look to be my best self, because my belief is, if I'm the best me, I'm one of the best humans in the world.
Absolutely. That's why you're here. You get what I'm saying? That's literally why you're here, because you have that perception, you have that idea of yourself. That is why I wanted to bring you here. I like I said, I didn't know what it was exactly, but you saying that right there, it confirms it for me. That's the reason why you're here. That's very, 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 very powerful, man. I'm glad you said that. Anything else you would say to the world on this stage?
About myself, I wouldn't say much. I am a product of very blessed, very privileged, very loved backgrounds and support systems. And I think that is why, not even think, like, I know that is 100% why I am so positive when I am, and I'm so loving to other people, is because I was given that from my family and friends and people like yourself.
Nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Very cool. Okay. So next question I would have for you, I just got a couple questions that I'm listing here.
I appreciate it, man. Shoot them away.
And then we can get into the discussion that, I know we both are ready to have when it comes to our culture. So the next question is, how do you inspire others?
Oh man, that's another great question. I inspire others with a multitude of things, man. Number one, which is why I love it so much, is art. Through acting and writing and doing stand-up comedy, you inspire people to, number one of the
on our podcast here. But for the time being, you can see why I wanted to bring this man here onto this platform. I believe that each and every person that is going to engage here on this platform will have something to offer the world. Truly, is like I said, that's my intention, is to show the world exactly how this person can contribute to them. You know, how can this person benefit me? How can me engaging with this person, how is this going to help me get better? How is this going to help me grow? And this connection that I'm building with this other person, to what extent am I willing to go to connect? So yeah, I believe the last question I had asked you was, how do you inspire others? And you started to go into detail about that.
Absolutely. Well, so I think the number one thing that has happened since I've started to really pursue my dream is everybody comes up to me and they're like, hey man, I've always wanted to get up on the stage and do stand-up.
Yeah.
And my number one response is, man, do it. Like, go to an open mic. I recommend that for anybody in the world, man. Just getting up on the stage and doing an open mic, like whether you bomb or not, it's so much growth.
Yeah, going
so
through
much
that process.
Opportunity. Like you learn so much about yourself for putting yourself out there because you're so vulnerable on the stage.
Right. Yeah.
So that would be, I think, for me right now in my career, that is the number one way I inspire people, just by getting up there and telling jokes, whether they're funny or not. You know, I'm not here to say whether they're funny or not, but just getting up there and doing it. Another way is just the way I move. You know, everybody who knows me, you know, I'm gonna grind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to be successful. You know, when I was at U of A, I was doing 2.5 jobs and going to class full time.
Right.
You know, when I graduated from GCU this year, I was doing an overnight job and going to class and acting. So I think like when people really get to know me and they start to see how I'm moving, then they get, you know, then I think they feel inspired by like, oh, okay, he's doing that much. Like I too can reach my dreams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. What's your astrological sign, man?
I'm a Leo.
You're a Leo, really? When's your birthday?
July 31st.
I thought you were gonna say the day. I was like, oh man. Okay.
That definitely would have been crazy.
Yeah, for sure. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So you're Leo. Do you know any other aspects about your birth chart by chance?
Oh man. Honestly, I've been told it. I've been told it a few times.
Okay.
But I don't know it by heart.
Yeah. Okay, for sure.
You're welcome to look it up. I'll give you all the information.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. That's what I was gonna say. So, you know, part of my exchange for you being on the podcast is you know, I want you to have a deeper level of understanding of yourself. And so that's accomplished through a birth chart or natal chart of some sort. So I definitely get that information from you. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that because it's worth it. I just want to know a couple aspects about your chart because what it comes down to. I gotta end the live. Hold on. Give me 1 second, man.
No, take your time, bro. Take your time.
But essentially, I'll still keep talking. Essentially, what it comes down to. Let's see. No, it's gonna be good for now. Go ahead and edit it later. What it comes down to is the different aspects that are about yourself are gonna show you just how you relate to the rest of the world. Like it's literally what your natal chart is just a reflection of where the stars were at the time that you were born. So you get that, and that's like an actual blueprint. That's how you came to existence in a sense, if that made any sense. But you're when the stars were shining, the planets and everything were aligned, and we all of us, you know, correlates to the stars, and that's what the study of astrology is. So let's go ahead and create a new one here. So what I do is, you know, I take down this information, and you comfortable sharing it over here on the podcast? Are you?
Yeah. I mean,
it's all about you.
What it is. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's not,
no, it's just
like, yo, with your social, you know.
Oh no. No, man, I ain't gonna get you like that, really. No. It's safe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and type in your name. So what it goes by basically is just ask for your birthday. You said July 31st, right?
Yep, July 31st, 1995.
July 31st, 95. Okay.
Yep.
Do you know the time that you were born? That's very, very important.
11:59 a.m.
Okay, 11:59 a.m. Smooth. And where were you born at?
Like, you need the exact hospital?
The city.
Or?
Yeah, no. The city.
Mesa,
Oh,
Arizona.
Mesa, Arizona. Okay.
Yeah.
Dang, you from Mesa? I didn't even know you was from Mesa.
Yeah, man.
Wow,
You know, I don't
okay.
claim it too much.
Right. Okay. I feel it. All right, cool. So I'm typing this in right now. So, like I said, it gives you the basically your natal chart. It gives you your whole breakdown. And essentially, what this is like I said, it's showing you where the stars and planets and everything were aligned at the time that you were born. And so this basically is just like a map to yourself, you know. And so that's what, like I said, that's the exchange I want to give you. But I'm just go through a couple aspects, and this just makes sense right here. So your sun is in Leo. So your sun sign is the sign that everybody knows, right?
Okay.
That's the one that you told me, right? So it goes from the sun, it goes to the moon, then Mercury, Venus, Mars. It goes through all the planets, and then it goes through a couple different stars, asteroids, and dark moon. There's all kinds of different aspects of yourself, right? So, you know what? I don't even I can send it to you over Instagram, but so it's very interesting. So your sun sign is Leo, your moon sign is Virgo, and I don't know if you know, I'm a Virgo, you know, but Virgo is a sign that's right after the Leo. And the homie that's on right now, Javon, is also a Virgo. So what's I'm saying that because it's important for you to know that your moon sign is what you attract in life. And so what you are attracting in life is that Virgo kind of energy. So you need the structure, or that's what you're attracting. You're attracting people with structure, or that energy of a structure, a sense of a workflow. You know, that's just how you operate. You know what I'm saying? And then there's a lot of different aspects, but you also attract different criticism and a level of analysis, you know, that you're attracting from other people. So that's more evidence about you know what I'm saying? And that's a different aspect. So when you understand that, you understand, oh, okay, you know, the two homies that's online right now are both Virgos, then that's telling you that's the energy that you're attracting, you know, and that's not by coincidence. So that's what I'm saying, for a reason. So let me go ahead and send this to you on Instagram. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Now, it's crazy because the Virgo thing, when you start to break it down, because I'm not the biggest one as far as knowing which sign is which and what the traits are. When you started breaking it down as far as structure and analysis, like I definitely attract both romantically and just like platonically, like my homies and stuff, that type of energy.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Wow, that's a whole nother level right there. You said,
Come on.
Romantically, okay. So the females that you attract are also of the same kind of culture, or what?
Well, they're like, as far as that Virgo and the structure thing goes, like all of the females I've been super attracted to and or had an extensive relationship with have been very structured, organized, very analysis-based women.
Wow.
And like I definitely find that attractive, which was interesting to hear you say that from somebody I've never had that kind of conversation with, to confirm that I do look for that.
Wow. Yeah, that's deep, man. And that's how deep it goes. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of just simple introspection into it's all about yourself. You know, so so the next part that I'll talk about is your Mercury. Mercury is like dealing with your intelligence and the way that you communicate, and you know, factors like that. So Mercury, like I said, that's the way that you communicate. So your Mercury is a Leo, and a Leo is very playful, very brave, very in the spotlight. They are in the spotlight. They are the spotlight. They are the ones. I mean, right now, you know, you are in the spotlight, literally. You know, and that being the fact, this guy, that being the fact, it changes. You know what I'm saying? How you operate with the world, and that this aspect I can say speaks to how you operate in the world. Period. You know, you being an actor and a stand-up comedian, like you said, so many different things that are going on behind the scenes. You being engaged in all those different aspects is giving you deeper levels of understanding yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you operate with the world. Does that seem kind of accurate at all?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he said 100%. See, and that's the value of this, right? This is a map to yourself, like straight up. This is just all about you. You know what I'm saying? So that's essentially what this podcast is. You know what I'm saying? It's learning more about you. And when people know, oh, Mike has a moon sign in Virgo, you know, they know a little different thing about you. And then they know, oh, I this is why I relate to him, because I also have the same sign. Or I have the opposite sign. The opposites attract. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that I can go deep into that, but so let me just, I'm gonna read one aspect of this because I can't send it to you over Instagram right now. So I'm gonna send it to you later. But it says, okay. Michael, this is the Mercury and Leo. So it says, Michael is dynamic and always expressive in thought and speech, dramatic. He appreciates his own ideas and tends to be outgoing in speech and manner. Fresh, warm, he puts forth strong views and is hard to influence or change. Emotional and a good entertainer. Michael is louder than average and tends to exaggerate. He is a lover. There is always plenty of tears and laughter. How accurate is that? Because
I would say that's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate.
I would say so too, just based off of how I know you. Right. That's so dope, man. So dope. All right, man. So I'm gonna get to the next question because I could spend the whole fucking hour, you know, talking about that shit. Astrology is truly one of my passions. You know what I'm saying? As I've come to understand deeper aspects of it, I understand how I relate to people. So that's why I'm telling you.
No, hey man. Once everything is done, man, and if I have the opportunity and if I'm blessed enough to come back to the podcast and it's in person, I have no problem diving deep into it.
Yes,
I would love to hear all of that. I would love to hear all of that.
For sure. Yeah, it's all about you, man. That's what I'm saying. And that's the reason why we're here. How did you get in the position that you are now? If you could tell somebody else, these are the steps into where I got to, because, you know, can you explain exactly to what extent you're involved in the acting industry and the stand-up community as well?
Oh man, absolutely. So to answer your first question, how did I get here? A lot of failure. Yeah. So in order to so what I would do to guide somebody to get where I'm at or even further is to tell them my failures so that they can avoid those pitfalls. So where I am, I'll kind of answer these in reverse. I'll answer where I am, and then I'll answer how I got here.
Right.
So where I am in the acting community right now, I was just nominated, I think it was in March, for Best Actor in a Short for the festival in Brazil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the International Film Festival in Brazil.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
And then I was one of the featured actors, a lead actor in the same short, for the Oscar qualifying New York International Children's Film Festival.
Wow.
And as far as stand-up comedy goes, you know, I've done Tempe Improv here in Arizona, which if anybody knows stand-up comedy, the improv chain of itself is one of the largest. Then I did stand-up live with downtown Phoenix, right in the heart of things. I did that 5 times.
Nice.
And then I had a residency in Scottsdale for a little bit. The weirdest thing about where I'm at right now is I'm getting more recognition, more opportunities doing stand-up, which I've been only doing formally for 2 years.
Right.
Than I am getting for acting, which I've been doing since I was very little. So there is a kind of an accelerated growth possible with stand-up that it's not available to acting for some people. But as far as acting, I also got done in a web series that will be featured on Amazon Prime. Wow. Nothing too special, but it's a 12-minute episode type thing. Real Nickelodeon-esque funny joint. Sweet. It's independent. And then I'm moving to LA actually in 2 weeks to full-time work as an actor in Hollywood. And I'm going to have an overnight job, you know, holding me down, which is why it was important that I had those other ones back in the past, I will talk about. But that's kind of where I'm at in my career right now.
Wow. Yeah, look at the timing. Look at the timing and everything, brother. That is amazing. I mean, it's about to be your birthday. You said 2 weeks from now you're moving to LA to become your full-time dream, essentially. That's what's taking place right now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So, I mean, I think it's like, and it's crazy because you kind of hit the nail on the coffin, man. It's one of my biggest beliefs is everything happens for a reason. You just have to be, what's up, Mariah? So like everything happens for a reason. You just have to endure long enough to figure out what that is.
Yeah.
And so to answer the question, that belief I will get back to. But to answer the third question of like, how did I get here, right? A lot of failure.
Yeah.
I was at University of Arizona doing a double degree, which a lot of people don't know the difference between a double degree and a double major, two different things, right? But double major is getting a bachelor's degree in the same field. So it'd be like getting an electrical engineering degree and a mechanical engineering degree. Both engineering degrees, those are double majors. A double degree is getting 2 different degrees in 2 different areas. So I was studying biomedical engineering and theater at the same time, full time, both of them.
Wow.
And it was difficult. It was difficult. It was difficult for many reasons, man. Commitment from me, knowledge from U of A, and general like the teaching style, which I think a lot of people don't know, and that's like one of the biggest things I push to like the younger generation, is the teaching style itself wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Like once I
at U of A, is that what you mean?
Yeah,
Really?
at U of A, the teaching style wasn't for me.
Wow.
Because
Why do you say that?
Well, it's very public school, public university-esque, right? So you have 200 people classes, or the smallest I ever had there, which was differential equations, was 45 people in that class.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and with the larger classes, like I had physics was 250, biology, intro to bio was my largest class at 400. And those classes, and they're only 50 minutes at U of A. Like all classes are 50 minutes, and there's not really much you can dive deep into in 50 minutes. It's just not.
Right. Gotcha.
Right. So supplemental training was necessary at U of A. Like you had to go to office hours, you had to get help from your TAs, and because I was working full time to support myself with bills, a lot of times that supplemental help wasn't an option for me. So that's why the teaching wasn't for me, but the commitment was also my fault. Whereas because I couldn't make it to those supplemental helps, I now had to put in more hours to learn from the book because the lecture's not teaching you and you're not going to supplemental training.
Gotcha.
So now I have to learn on my own.
Yeah.
And I never necessarily had to do that for subjects that I necessarily didn't care for before. So it was a whole different vibe, a whole different like way to kind of push yourself.
That's interesting. So
by the time like my 3.5 year came up, which was the fall semester of my junior year, fall 2016 to be exact. Well, spring 2015, I was on probation academically, and then spring 2016. That's a lie. Okay, spring 2015. Let me get it right. Spring 2015. I was at the end of that. I was given a letter saying that the next semester I'd be on probation. So I said, all right, I'm cool. I've always been an A student. Like I graduated with a 4.233 in high school, so I wasn't necessarily worried about probation.
Gotcha.
In the fall, I really focused on my biomedical engineering classes, and I was gunning for it. But it came down ultimately to the same problems. Like I just wasn't getting the right lectures that I needed to. Still couldn't get the supplemental helps. And even as much work as I was putting in about 3 hours of homework outside of class, and I was full-time 18 hours, all the semesters I was at U of A, and doing 40 hours of work, like to pay bills. So I'm putting in the extra 3 hours every night. And on top of that, to be honest, I was also going to parties. So like I'm studying, I'm working, like I'm sleeping maybe 2.5 hours a night.
Right.
Unless it's a weekend where I'm getting 8 hours. So I'm sleeping about 20 hours a week.
Wow.
Yeah, and
basically, I'm cutting you off because there was a point where you said that essentially, basically, how you're summing up all of school is you're saying you feel like you would have been further if you put your own energy into diving into what it is that you wanted to. When it comes to the knowledge and information that you were trying to extract from the textbooks and you weren't getting the proper lectures and whatnot, because I had a similar experience myself. you know, when I was going through the school system, which is why I'm here in the position I am. But we're not talking about me. We're talking about you. So
I think it's wonderful how you can connecting, because I really do believe that, and that's one of the biggest things I hope to push, especially when I get bigger, is teaching styles and learning styles are just different, and sometimes you have to acknowledge that. So for me, I learn in two different ways, right? So I learned, the first way I learned is, if I'm learning material that I'm not interested in, you have to teach me that. Like if you're the lecturer and you're teaching me, for example, literature, English, ironically, English and history, which is a lot of things that I kind of dive myself into now as an adult, I wasn't into formally in the formal setting of school, like social studies and English. I was always a science and math guy.
Got you.
And because I wasn't interested in those, for the teacher, like if you're not explaining to me in detail what the Louisiana Purchase is, I'm not going to go and look that up more. Or if I do, it's going to take a lot more energy for me to really get into that and memorize it. My brain personally can memorize numbers like that.
Got you.
And like science-based facts really easily.
Yeah, that's exactly how I am. Same shit. Yeah.
Like, everything else, man, it's like it's so much more energy, and that extra energy just wasn't available while I was at U of A.
Right. Wow. Yeah, that makes sense, man. That makes sense. And so you do think you'd be further without that, or do you think that you extracted what you needed from school when you went through that period? How does that play out in your mind in terms of your timeline for yourself and how you are benefiting now?
That's a fantastic question, because that's actually something that I go through. I think about a lot of things a lot, and that's one of the things I think about. I don't regret many things in my life, man. I think honestly, one of the things I regret in my life is not playing football in high school more. Only because I rocked with the coaches a lot. That's the only thing that I can say, like, I regret. But that's mostly, like, that also came with a caveat of me having my own car and having my own money. So I don't necessarily get that. You know, it's just one of those things where you have to choose. There's pros and cons.
Yeah.
So I think that I think there's an opportunity for me that I would be further if I didn't go through that. But I don't think I would be as skilled as I am now if I didn't do that. Does that make sense?
Right, most definitely. Yeah, I don't think there's anything worth regretting overall because, you know, everything has made you to who you are now, you know, but I definitely understand that train of thought to where it's like, man, if I would have done this, I could have seen how this would have benefited me, you know, down the road and whatnot. And but it's all about that, you know, that reflection, and that period of reflection is what allows you to grow. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope, man. That's so dope. The fact that, you know, you are where you are through all of that adversity, through all of those, you know, failures as you term them, is what speaks so greatly behind what it is that you are. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the story. That's part of who you are now. And as you go forward and continue to grow, because you're there. You know what I'm saying? You get ready to move to LA. That's the prime time. You know what I'm saying? That's where you want to be at. You know, in the field that you are in already, and the connections that you've made. I know your personality, so I can speak to how you shine in the room. You get what I'm saying? And you get in there and you just are who you are. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even something that you have to apologize for. It's just something that people have to catch up to. Because a lot of times, ahead of the curve in that sense. You know what I'm saying? You just ready. You ready for whatever. You know, and you are in that light. I have one more. Well, I got a lot of questions, but I think one more question should suffice. What is the greatest lesson that you've learned about yourself so far in life?
Oh man, the greatest lesson that I learned about myself is I think the greatest lesson I learned about myself is that and it was early on, and it was thanks to my older brother, that self-awareness and self-reflection and the ability to be accountable for your own actions and open to growing from those is ultimately the key to being
successful.
Wow. So being accountable for your own actions. What was the one that you said right before that?
So self-awareness and
Self-awareness.
self-reflection.
Okay. What do you mean by self-awareness? Because a lot of people I can interpret that one way and then be like, oh, okay, that's what he means. But what do you mean by that? Self-awareness and self-reflection.
Basically means, and those for me are kind of in a triangle, right? So they're all connected to each other and they flow within each other.
Oh,
So
wow.
self-awareness for me is if I say something, I know what I'm saying, and for me, I'm accountable for what I'm saying, and I'm like if it comes up, if push comes to shove, and someone says, "Hey man, you shouldn't have said that,"
Yeah.
I'm aware to know that, say that I did say that, and I
Right.
take responsibility for that, and now I can self-reflect and grow from it.
Right. Yeah, that's a great interpretation of that. You know, to be able to hold yourself accountable to your word is one of the highest codes that you can operate by. So that's extremely valuable. That's one of the codes that I live by. You know, it's to stand by the words that I say. You know, and that's why when I said that I was gonna have you on the podcast, that's, you know, essentially that's why we're here. You know, so. I can go into all kinds of different questions, but I want to start this dialogue that we wanted to have.
Okay.
What is your evaluation of what's transpiring right now in our culture, and how do you interpret it?
Yeah. So I'm kind of a misnomer. I don't necessarily fall in a lot of categories, but for me, I fall in the category of I'm an idealist with a strategy of realism.
Okay. What do those two terms mean for you?
So an idealist means is I'm always going to want for something that seems imaginative.
Okay, one more time. You said, so you're gonna want for something that seems
imaginative.
Okay. Imaginative. Okay.
Yeah. And then I have a strategy of realism. So I'll just give you an example, and then I'll go into kind of my interpretation here.
Sure.
One of the biggest beliefs for the success of our society in America as a country, not our society as a globe, is to not have any political parties is my dream. That's the ideal, I feel like, for us to reach our tip-top potential.
Yeah.
And some people, again, would say, oh, that's never going to happen. It's imaginative, which I recognize. Okay, I can see why you would think that's far-fetched.
Sure. Yeah.
But now I have a strategy of realism to kind of get us there or get us close to there as possible.
Okay. So you're trying to essentially bridge the gap, you know, between that far-fetched idea and actually getting us the strategy to get there.
Exactly.
Okay. Wow.
Exactly. So my interpretation of what's going on, to keep it short and simple, is all of this is just a reveal of what's already been happening on all types, on both sides and spectrums. All of this stuff was happening before, and it just kind of reached a point where we could no longer ignore it. We had to address it. And that's like I said, on both sides, all different types of angles and spectrums, whatever you want to, whatever anybody else's view is, like everybody has to deal with this now.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, so these things have been happening on all types of sides. And I think it's like boiling a pot of water, right? Like once it starts to boil, it's going to overflow.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So how do you arrive at the idea that us having no political parties, where does it go from there? You know, so why are we going there? Why are we going to that reality where we don't have any political idea or affiliations, right? And then once we get there, where do we go from there?
Yeah. So I'll start this off with kind of an analogy. I love analogies. So say you walk into a Foot Locker, right? And I ask you, what shoe do you like the most in here?
Yeah.
When I'm asking that question and when you're answering that question, Because I don't know your preference of shoes, you don't know my preference of shoes. It's coming from a genuine place of answering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say, well, I like Nikes. Then I'm going to ask you why. And you're going to give me an intimate answer as to why you like Nikes. Whether it was because, you know, that was your first type of shoe, or you like the way they stitch these.
Yeah.
It's just more intimate and genuine versus if you walk in, like I walk in your room and I say, you see a lot of Nikes. And then we go to a Foot Locker, and now I'm asking you, hey, what do you think of these Pumas? It's a more directed question because I know you like Nikes, so I'm gonna stay away from these Nikes.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As of right now, we all know each other's shoe preference as far as political parties go, for the most part.
Yeah.
So like now when people are interacting or our policies are being made, or the people who are making these laws, Senate, Supreme Court, you know, all the branches,
Right.
legislative, judicial, and, you know, the executive are making these laws. Everybody's making laws based off of relation to each other. So it's like a race, or it's like a boxing match, if you will.
Yeah.
So because you punched me with a jab, I'm gonna hit you with an uppercut.
Gotcha.
First, hey, what policy is gonna be best for our people as Americans or human beings?
Yeah.
So without political parties, the only thing you can focus on is policies. With political parties, you don't necessarily have to focus on policies.
Nice. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Because it's like the separation of into different two parties kind of gives you that duality of experience, you know, to where you have this one, you know, party. Well, it creates the dual opposites, and I think that dynamic though. That would be my question. Then, do you think that dynamic going away? Do you think it would show up in a different aspect? And when I say dynamic, I mean like the Republican and Democrat are, you can parallel those to maybe good or evil, or black and white, or you know, you see the duality of the two. If you look at the Cellf Code's logo, you know, it has two, you know what I'm saying, sides to it, and it's, you know, stands for CC, but it's also, you know, it translates into two snakes, but they are combined. So the idea behind that is that there's a yin and a yang, and those are two opposites, you know what I'm saying? So those two opposites working together, you know, are what creates the proper flow and dynamic, you know? So without that, the two parties, where does that dynamic fall into place? Because I don't think that we get away from that, you know, that's a natural law. So where do you think that would show up as we're just focusing on the policies? Where would that show up? Because I think, like I said, we can't get away from that. There's a male and female, you know, sun and the moon, you know, you see the dynamic. So what do you think?
Man, that's a very great analysis of what could be. I think to look forward, where would that manifest? I think it would manifest in the policies themselves.
Right. And okay, continue.
Yeah, but what that would now constitute is everybody would now have to look into the policies of each person in order to figure out that yin and yang. You wouldn't just be able to pinpoint it based off of whatever the relation to whatever
party. Right. Gotcha. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it automatically makes people a little more informed.
Okay.
If they want to have a debate or argument.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
Some people are still only going to go with a certain person because of X, Y, and Z, but for the general public who do affect votes and elections and lawmaking, I think would make a huge difference and change our whole landscape of how we really deal with politics. And I think it would also change our landscape of how we deal with everything else that kind of flows to and from politics.
Yeah. Wow. That was great. That was a great explanation, brother. Man, so dope to have, you know what I'm saying, a man that can hold you know, a conversation. You know what I'm saying? And that's the value, I think, of having, you know, men talk, as well as we can, you know, we can receive value from a woman, but there's nothing like that exchange between, you know, two men. So, you know, no homo, but, you know, much respect. You know what I'm saying? As always. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. What would, I got one more question that I kind of want to get into. What is one thing that, well, I got two more. I got one more that's going to ask, what is one thing that would surprise other people to know about you? Like what is one thing that you are not holding back, but what would surprise people to really know about you? You being in the position that you are and the character that you are, what is something that nobody really knows about you? That's the best way to ask that.
Oh man, that's there's a lot of things that a lot of people know about me, but I think the most, I'll take it as this. I think what will surprise literally a legit amount of people is how deep and how diverse my intellectual friend group actually is. So, and I use that adjective before that kind of identifying noun of friendship, because I don't necessarily use the word friend. It's one of those words where people can take it, you know, meaning what it should mean, like, yo, you got my back, and other people can take it as like, I know you. So an intellectual friendship is the people that I know you, like we can have a very intellectual conversation with, and regardless of if we agree or disagree, we can still have a good time.
For sure. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the amount of people I have in that circle and the different viewpoints I have in that circle, I think surprises. There's only like one person who's ever really seen that whole circle, and it surprised him. It was my roommate, Chris, one of my best friends, still talk to him. And I think it really surprises a lot of people.
So you're saying your inner circle is what surprises people? Like are you saying do you see yourself, this is a better question, do you see yourself as the leader of that group? Because you being a Leo, typically every Leo that I know, they you know, see themselves inherently as leaders of their group, you know what I'm saying? So would you see yourself that way, or how do you see yourself in your group of friends?
Yeah, man. See, I never see myself as a leader always. I'm kind of I'm like I blend in.
Man, I don't believe that. I think you are the leader.
Well, here's for me personally, I feel like there's very much a time to be a leader, and I'm able to adhere to that type of energy that's necessary. There's also a time to just sit back and chill. And I think one of the greatest analogies, natural metaphors to that is a lion. You know, there's times where the lion is engaged and hunting and protecting the pride, and there's other times where he's just sitting back and watching them do it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a great analogy. Yeah, I think that's what a great leader does, honestly. And the way that you said that, and the way that you were able to capture that idea of a lion being in that the duality where he's attacking and being, you know, the man of the pride, not the man, but the leader of the pride. And then you have him also having the moment to sit back and observe. I think those are the qualities that you need as a leader. So that's why I would say you are a leader in that respect. Also, I think you lead in the pack. You know, I don't know your circle of friends, but I would ask them the same question: do they see you as a leader in that respect? And I would imagine they do if they're around you. You know, because that's the energy that you exude. My final question, man. I don't know. You got. Well, we'll go into if you have anything else to say. But what is your approach to life? What is your philosophy on life? Period. If you could sum it up, how would you deliver your philosophy?
Oh man, yes. Oh man, thanks for giving me this opportunity. So my philosophy on life is to never be in too deep with yourself, to be closed to the truth of others.
Wow.
And that ultimately comes from my my belief as an omnist, which a lot of people don't know what that is. But it's a very vague.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll teach you. It's a very vague term to mean that I believe that there is some degree of truth in every religion on earth.
Mm.
If you take those degrees of truth and put them together, you get a full true picture of humanity's past, present, and future.
Wow. Wow.
So, and I take that belief and I basically apply it to all my life, meaning that I don't have all the answers. I can't.
Yeah.
Other people I meet, some degree of what they're saying is going to be true.
Right.
I'm going to take that into account.
Mm.
I'm not saying I'm going to openly not combat what they're telling me, but eventually, if someone's telling you the truth, eventually, no matter how much you combat it, you're going to be wrong.
Mm.
You know, it's like debating basketball, right? If someone says Kwame Brown is better than LeBron, there's only so far you can go with that statement.
Right. Right.
You know? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. So how do you feel, this is just, follow-up questions on that question. How do you filter the truth? Because, you can see the truth, to whatever extent. And I believe everybody can see their own truths in, that truth, that we all agree that is true, then that's what becomes true, So how is it that you process the truth? How do you know what's true and what's not?
Yeah, research, experience, and evidence.
Say it one more time.
Research, experience, and evidence.
Okay. Research, experience, and evidence. Okay.
Yeah. So when it's life, when it's an opinion or a fact dealing with life, those three things are most likely going to intersect. And if they don't intersect, then you can isolate why one of those things doesn't match the other. For example, we'll do public school, right? So if someone says, I hate public school, and another person like myself says, I've never had a problem with public school, you can then pinpoint why that other person has a problem with public school and why I don't. Experience, you're going to research why each person, what the difference is in each person's life, and most of the time it's going to be the experience, the circumstances of that truth.
Right.
Then I take all of that information, their truth, the circumstances of that truth, the evidence supporting that truth, and the research I've done, and see if it applies to my life. And if it does, then I take that in. If it doesn't, then I realize it's not for me. Whether it's true for them or true and not true for me, that's something that I just can't adhere to.
Right. That's huge. What you just said. When you apply it to your life, that is the key, I believe, to understanding your keys to what I like to call the matrix, of reality. It's a structure that we were born into, but that we had no initial control over, And so when we start, expressing who we are and coming to know who we are through living our life and going through the experiences and finding our truth, then that's when we come to know, a deeper level of ourselves, and we get the I believe the keys that are necessary, the code that we have to live by in order for us to be successful, because we all have our own life, and we're not here to live somebody else's life. We're here to live our life. So, if we live somebody else's life, we're failing at life in that respect, because we have our own individual, perspective, consciousness, and awareness, and understanding that that's how we're supposed to live by our own truth. So that's powerful, man. That's amazing. That's plenty, man. We went in. that was amazing.
To kind of even combat my own ideas, I do think fundamentally there is a basis of truth that all humanity knows. And this gets into the philosophical idea as if everybody is born good or evil or neutral. That third one is one that people usually don't, they don't necessarily ask. Everybody says, like, is humanity born good or evil? Right? Like, that's typically what the philosophical question is.
Yeah.
But the third one is humanity born in neutrality? And in my opinion, I believe that humanity is born highly malleable. So the circumstances themselves will then mold that person very quickly. So I do believe that there was a base moral code that every human knows. And we get trained to either ignore that moral code, or we get trained to kind of, okay, like, this is what it's, I call it the gut feeling, right? So our gut feelings is just one of the most dynamic things, which is one of the reasons why I think I'm in the level of comfort and success that I'm in right now. Success, like, I feel like I'm successful to myself right now based off of the steps.
Well, because you can see your progress, you can track your progress. That's what successful is, and I believe you are successful in that sense. Yeah.
And I think that I owe a lot of it to beginning to listen to my gut feeling.
Nice.
In the most rudimentary example, it's like when you ask yourself, what do I want to eat?
Yeah.
And in your body, if you're listening, you know it might be, I'm really feeling Chinese right now.
Yeah.
Or my body is craving sour cream. Like, whatever that rudimentary.
Sour cream. Right. I'm with you though.
I say that because, like, 2 weeks ago, or like a week ago or something like that, I was sour cream, and that manifested into going to get Chipotle. So, like,
whatever it takes. Shout out to Chipotle.
I think that gut feeling towards goodness and positivity is built into us naturally.
Yeah.
And I don't think that, like, hinders or affects our desires or anything. So in a less rudimentary example, I think every human knows that killing another human is bad, right? Like, I think everyone realizes that. And it just happens that some people, serial killers, psychopaths, all of them, are able to kind of deviate from that gut feeling of not being able to kill somebody for a brief moment and do it. And then they have, like, they either have a lot of guilt, which is, I think, psychopath, and no guilt, which I think is sociopath. I could be wrong about those.
I don't know, brother. You're the educated one here, you know. No, that's powerful, man. Let me speak to that, because what you're talking about, you said the gut feeling. I know that to be just my heart. You know what I'm saying? My heart, and I believe that's the same feeling that you're talking about, because your heart, and when you tap into your heart, that's what I've actually just spent the last 3 days tapping into. You know, going through the boot camp experience that I did with my mentor. You know, we're learning how to connect our heart to our world. You know what I'm saying? And get so familiar with that feeling. So when I was telling you before, when we got on, that I didn't know why necessarily it was you. You know what I'm saying? You were an immediate thought. It was like, cool, this is the movement that I'm making. This is the decision that I'm making. I already had the man in mind. You was the first one that came to mind. And it moved from my mind to my heart, because I had to check and say, okay, why is it? And I was like, I don't know. I couldn't make sense of it, but I knew it was the right decision to make. I had that gut feeling, or that heart, inclination that I tapped into, and I knew that you were the right person to start this off with. So, man, it's been a pleasure. I'm gonna go ahead and end it, because it's been over an hour. You know what I'm saying? But we definitely, already.
Bro, we're gonna need a part 2 soon.
Oh, for sure, without a doubt, we definitely can. We can continue and dive deeper. Because, like I said, I got to send. I'm gonna go ahead and send that to you over Instagram. I'll get your number and everything. I might have your number already, but I'll go ahead and get your number and everything.
My old one, I'm gonna send you my new one.
Okay, smooth. Yeah. If you could, and then that way I'll go ahead and just shoot that over to you. You can start, you get the full upload, and then we'll have a part 2, and we'll go in again. And man, you moving to LA in 2 weeks, man. How does that feel?
Man, that's the weird thing about me is I don't get nervous beforehand, but I get nervous like when it's about to happen. So because it's so close, I am a little nervous just because this is my first time living outside of Arizona in my life, my whole life.
Yeah, that's big time, man. That's big time. That's not, I don't think it's a nervous feeling. It's more of an excited feeling, you know, that's like that energy is there because it's like, you know, this is what it takes for you to get to the next part. You know what I'm saying? Of learning yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, dope, man. Well, it's been a pleasure, brother. Like I said, we'll go ahead and connect again. If anybody wants to find you on Instagram, what is your handle?
Absolutely, man. My Instagram is @Mykhal Polite. I'm gonna spell that for you. It's not spelled the way you think it is. It's him,
right.
Y as in you, K as in kite, E as in everyone, polite like the word, because that's what we try to be always.
I like that. That was smooth. Okay. Mr. Hollywood over here. Yeah, I see you. All right, brother. Once again, it's been a pleasure, man. It's been great having you.
Thank you so much, man. We'll connect on that part 2. Hey, make sure you enjoy your weekend.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You as well. Thank you for being on the Cellf Code. The Cellf Code is the next, this is a transition. That's why it was important for you to be here, man. So pleasure having you. Talk to you soon, brother.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right.